So how is everyone else doing today? I got woken up by something that I wasn't expecting to be woken up by. All right. What do I start with? Probably the onions. I will probably use about 1.5 for each, because they are a bit on the smaller side, and the recipes say 2 if small. They're not small. Yeah, they're not super small, so I think 1.5 is the right call. Now I am going to be cutting ingredients for both as I go. And I should probably wash my hands, because I have been playing around with the computer. Now, I was going to originally be cooking the pirogues today. I changed my mind because it's going to be warmer tomorrow, and the dough is going to benefit from that. Because it's a yeast dough and not self-raising flour. Does mean that hopefully I won't have to turn the oven on this year to make the dough rise. Okay, there's a bit of an issue with this onion as well. It seems to have taken some damage to the side, but not going to matter too much. I'm just going to pull the chair in a little bit. I feel like I'm reaching a fairway, although I am kind of reaching a fairway because I'm reaching to the side, which my shoulder is not appreciating a lot. Now, I'm hoping that with the vegetable mix, I will have enough of the mix left over to make something that I don't know how to make it, but I know how to make a cheats version of it. So another one of the recipes that I want to go through with my mom is pansit bihong. It is a rice noodle dish. Now, I am going to be using chicken. Neither Sid nor I are a massive fan of pork. other than bacon. I like roast pork and I like crackling, but I don't not a massive fan of pork. I struggle with meats that are a little bit more on the fatty side. Um, so my cheats version is to use the leftovers from the spring rolls. Maybe add some extra of the vegetables if there is any left over. And okay, so that one was for the onion. Yeah, that's and I'll be adding some pre-cooked chicken. But yeah, that is basically my cheats version at the moment, but until I actually learn how to make it myself. Now I gotta kind of remember how I normally cut onions. Because if I do it wrong, and then it makes life harder. And I forgot to turn the do not disturb stuff on. Sorry about that. I don't think I got it right. I did thoroughly clean the table and the mat this morning. Oh no. Alright, now we're having a little bit of trouble because they didn't stay together. when I could cook all the time, I never seemed to have issues with onions. I didn't used to do it the cheats way with the little thing at the end. But for some reason, I just can't seem to remember how to cut an onion properly without doing that anymore. Honestly, I'm looking at that and I don't even know if we're going to need 1.5. One actually seems about the amount that I remember. I know I didn't normally do the side cut. Yeah, no, I'm not doing the side cut thingy. Like I have said a couple of times, I'm not a professional. I don't know, if my knife skills are worrying some people out there. I promise I'm not trying to tell any of the chefs that I know through various communities. No, 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 no. Oh. That almost ended very badly. No. All right. I guess next is carrots. Carrots. Alright. Welcome in, Peppermint. I hope you're doing better today and you don't have a headache. I may or may not have taken over that headache for you. Okay, so I am going to take the tail off, but considering we're going to be holding it to grate it, I'm not going to take the top off because that's more space we've got. Gone when that sneeze. Oh, I know that feeling. I had a massive sneezing fits last night. It was horrible. If I didn't know better, I'd say I was probably sneezing for 10 or 20 minutes. Stuffy nose now. Oh. Now, I tend to prefer this style of skewer. I grew up with the original style. But I just find it a lot nicer on my wrist. Than the sideways ones. Sadly, I am not making kilsick soup or any variation at the moment. We do have an ad break. I'm just peeling carrots. We are not missing anything. I better make sure that, yeah, one large carrot grated in each case, and none of these to me are large carrots. I'm so glad that I decided to get Sari. Ah! I didn't take the end off that one. these guys. Now, the most annoying part of this is going to be the green beans. I swear, when I am making this recipe, I loathe the green beans. There are just so many of them, and it's so fiddly. Now, I do sometimes cheat with the carrot, but I was good for stream, and I needed actual carrots anyway, so sometimes I buy the pre-grated, which is definitely a little bit thicker than this, but it does still work. I don't know if pre-grated is available everywhere either, but it is available in Australia from generally both Coles and Woolworths, so I haven't done this in quite a while either. Oh, I definitely do not remember it being this tiring. Yeah, that's just a chunk of carrot. So there is going to be stuff inside the grater as well. So when I finish the 2 carrots for the vegetable version, again, please do not confuse it with vegetarian. There may be a way to make it so, but I wouldn't know how to do it because one of these sauces is oyster sauce, and the other is soy, and I can't remember if there's something in the soy sauce as well or if that's just gluten. There's also chicken stock. So chicken stock I do understand you could change out for vegetable stock. But yeah, I don't know how you would get around the oyster sauce. Now, that I can snack on at some point. I do eat raw carrot. It's something I've enjoyed since I was a kid. I was a really weird kid. I loved all my vegetables, even spinach and broccoli. Well, especially spinach. Oh, can't beat a raw carrot. I mean, roast carrot comes pretty close. Welcome in, Dans. I cannot do the shout outs at the moment. I wouldn't know how to do it on the iPad, and I have food all over my hands. I still haven't updated yet to include all the wonderful new people who we're getting since the recaps came out. I will be doing that possibly over some of the time I'm not streaming that I'm taking off in the lead up and in the lead up to Christmas and the gap between Christmas and New Year's. Carrot green. Oh, I have to prep everything. Okay. I can't help it. Like I said. You wake up in a funny mood. I wake up horribly. So while I'm glad it's here, the last item of Sid's Christmas presents arrived this morning. And don't get me wrong, I am glad Australia Post did the right thing and rang the doorbell and you know, gave me the package and stuff like that. But at the same time, I woke up a few times throughout the night having a little bit of trouble sleeping. So the extra did not go down well. Hey, 2 carrots down, 2 to go. But I think I'm gonna get up briefly, rinse my hands, and have a drink. It is quite warm over here. I don't know what the actual temperature is, but I am gonna have to make sure that I'm staying hydrated. Especially with this workout that is grating carrots and chopping all the vegetables and stuff like that. Today's menu, so we are making 2 different types of spring rolls. We are making vegetable spring rolls, not vegetarian. They contain oyster sauce and chicken stock. I don't know how to replace the oyster sauce. Chicken stock you could swap out for vegetable stock. But then even then you'd have to make sure that it didn't include certain things. But yeah, I don't know how to substitute for the oyster sauce. And I can't remember if soy sauce, specifically the ones that I use, has anything non-vegetarian in it. I do always specify when I'm making these or sharing these, because sometimes people hear vegetable and think, oh, you know, I'm a vegetarian, I can eat these. I don't want anyone to, you know, find out the wrong way that it's not vegetarian friendly. I'm open and upfront about it. And the other one is a chicken version. Now, like I said, I am making these, which does involve some cooking. But I don't know if I'm actually cooking the spring rolls after or not. I am extremely tired. But I really wanted to get these at least made, partially because we don't really have room in the fridge for these vegetables and the vegetables for the pirogues I'm making and everything else. No, one more carrot to go. And I might be making off stream a very cheap version of pancit, which is a rice noodle dish. Maybe. We'll see how I'm feeling. I struggle to say it's pancit because I don't know the recipe, and I know I'm not likely to be doing it properly. So basically, I'm going to be using the leftovers, if there are any, from the spring rolls. Some chicken breast that I got from Coles. So just slices like you'd find in salads and stuff like that. Not from the deli section, not chicken loaf or stuff like that. This is actual chicken. Oh. An abra and a cadabra, wow. Can't forget the chicken. No, so chicken isn't actually part of the recipe that my mum makes for pancit. She uses pork. I do know that much, but I'm not a fan of pork, and neither is Sid. So I am using a meat that we are both going to be comfortable eating. For me, it's mostly the fat factor. I like the taste of pork. I like roast pork, but I have to be really, really careful that I don't get bad bits. Otherwise, I gag. All right, I'm gonna rinse the grater. Might be an idea to clean up a little bit. It's not going to matter too much because all this is still going in the same recipe anyway. It's just at different times because of the cooking differences between certain vegetables and stuff like that. So it's not a... I just like a clean chopping board. So yes, a massive, massive shout out to my mom for this recipe. Okay, next. Start with something relatively easy. Oh, there is a big delay in stream. So we got bean sprouts. We're just going to rinse those off. Stick the extra in the fridge. Now, I don't think that bean sprouts are part of the actual cancer recipe, but got to be careful because the water is currently coming out hot as well from the sink, even though it's the cold on. They're going to be a little bit all right. Now that was the easiest thing in the recipe. We are gonna stick that there. Not the hot water. Yeah. All right. Now, I probably overdid it with the beans, which is not what we're getting to next, but I very, very likely overdid it with the beans. And yes, I know there's plastic on this. I do have somewhere a slicey thing that could probably make this a little bit easier, but A, I don't entirely know where it is, and B, the last time I used it, I had to switch to a knife anyway. So we have a regular cabbage here. I'm going to try and get it nice and thin. does mean that the knife is going to slip and it's going to make noises. Like I said, I am not trained. Gonna flip that over. Oh. Now we are gonna check some of the, yeah, gonna take that end bit off. At this point, it's almost like the same as cabbage. Other than the bean sprouts, we've got almost the same as coleslaw. Other than the bean sprouts, we've got onion, and we've got shredded carrot, we've got practically shredded cabbage. Probably. Now, I don't have exact measurements, and since I shop at Coles and not Vegetable Gardens, or Coles and Woolies, and not Market Gardens or Vegetable Gardens, it is much harder for me to get a cabbage the same size as what Mum had that day. That their cabbage was massive, even though it was only a quarter cabbage. It was still huge. So my instructions for cabbage are half of a quarter of a large cabbage and then to wash after it's cut. So we're probably going to use about 3/4 of this half a cabbage. All right. And that's just the calendar reminding me that I plan to stream tomorrow. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna go and rinse that one out. Or actually, I will show you the pretty spiffy device. And I'm still gonna need the chopping board, but I'm gonna move that out of the way for a second. So this is called a salad spinner or a lettuce spinner. It's for cleaning lettuce, basically, and cabbage is not that different from lettuce. So you can either put like the lettuce leaves in here or cut it up and do it the same way that I have with the cabbage. Actually, and rinse my hands. Damn. Hot water nearly every single time. Nearly every single time. So, you got this on top. So it's currently got a lot of water in it, showing some resistance. But it's spinning it in there and cleaning off the cabbage. And then we will take off the lid. We'll remove the inner basket, empty out all the water, and then spin it again to dry it. A little bit of a shake before I put the basket back in. And yeah, that's basically removed any extra moisture that was still in there. Now for the most annoying part. Other than me constantly wanting to wipe off my chopping board. And I didn't mean the ads either. Anyone would think I hadn't used the tap in a while, but okay. I'm gonna give the green beans a quick rinse before we cut them, and then I am gonna mostly rinse them after they've been cut. I'm also gonna put that back up. Hi, welcome in, Kana. How are you? You've joined us for the most annoying part. The green beans. We've basically got to take that and cut all of them. And because of the shape and everything, they don't overly appreciate being done multiple at a time. You can try, but now I'm not being as good at this as my mom is. They should probably be a little bit thinner. All right, cut through. It's just really, really tedious and time consuming. And then after that, we've got garlic, and then the fun part, we actually get to cook all these ingredients. So we've already done the onion, the carrot, cabbage, rinsed the bean sprouts. Oh, you're having a storm? Okay. I was worried there. We've had really, really bad internet lately. So we haven't been able to like the streams have not been going well just because the internet hasn't been holding up. So I am recording as well, so that just in case we have the same issues. The recording did turn out, whereas the stream VOD did not for the garlic knots. Now I can't put those up on Twitch, the recordings, but they do go over to YouTube. I have not done yesterday's yet. After stream yesterday, I tidied up a little bit, and then put another batch of the Christmas muffins on before Sid got home. They actually did work in those little smaller, pretty patty pans. I did try one last night. There is one in the fridge, and the rest went in the freezer last night. They were a little bit crumbly, so I think I probably should have added a little bit more oil or milk. I don't know which one, maybe a little bit of both. But they were definitely very very sweet muffin, sort of like, as opposed to the savory English muffins. So like what you get at a cafe or something if you order a muffin that comes in a patty pan. So I don't know, like, I didn't really pay attention to food at Starbucks, and I wasn't thrilled with their coffee. No, no. So they crumbled apart. They weren't dry, they just crumbled. They would probably be good with a drink, but yeah, it wouldn't work because there would be too much of it that ended up in the cup. I did heat it in the microwave for like 20 seconds because they had cooled down. I used one of the ones that I made during stream and not one of the fresh ones that finished baking when Sid got home.
We've got to all stick together. Good friends are there for each other.
Hi, welcome in, Shang. How did your stream go? And are you still streaming? I think so. And welcome in, Pogo, as well. I think we're maybe a third of the way through the beans. It's a big maybe. Like I said, unfortunately, because of the roundness, the beans keep wanting to roll and stuff like that, so they're not exactly possible to do multiple beans at once. Or at least not for me. Maybe for someone who's got more cooking skills. Twitch died on you, but you're back. Unfortunately, I can't like lurk when I'm streaming, especially with how our internet has been lately. But if you're still live when I'm done in a, I don't even know how long. I still gotta do all the wrapping, like all the bean stuff and cook, and then mix the chicken ones together. But yeah, it is not the game that I thought it was. I could have sworn I'd seen someone playing that, but it was a like more horror sort of, and that was just based on the title. Um, but it definitely looks interesting. Like I said, like because I'm cooking, I can't really do shout outs at the moment, and neither of my mods are here at the moment, or at least not that I know of. I don't think Kittens is here. They could be lurking. And Sid is definitely still at work at this point. If you want a sword, I will give you a sword after stream. Um, I know you are a good mod when you are available. But I also like because of that. I don't want to overwhelm people who are already mods. So I don't really ask. It's just if people offer, it's like, well, if you want the sword, you can have the sword. So yeah, unfortunately, during the cooking streams, we are going to have to settle for just a reminder that there is a wonderful, wonderful long-time supporter. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, I can't promise that I'll be streaming at hours when you're awake either. So I don't even know when I'm going to be streaming at the moment. Things are that up in the air. Okay, will do, Kana. Thank you very much. Also, the recordings and VODs will be available if you do want to go over them and watch them. There is never any pressure to do so, but if you're actually really interested in what I'm doing, then that's always an option as well. I hope the weather improves and things get better. That was a little close. Oh, so many beans. But yeah, I was so happy yesterday. It really, really smelled of things that make me think of Christmas, even though we live in Australia and like for the longest time it was not roast frequently in our household for Christmas, but there were still those Christmas smells, like the nutmeg and the cinnamon. I don't know why. I don't know why. Um, because I can't think of anything that either side of my family would have made. Unless it was my nana making the pudding. Um, we're getting this slowly. Oh, this is why I say like the most time consuming part of this, other than waiting for the mixture to cool, is definitely the beans and the prep, like the prep, but mostly because of the beans. Up, I didn't actually get myself. That was a like. But yeah, Shang, I don't know what game I'm getting it mixed up with. But yeah, just based on the title, I thought it was a completely different game. But then again, like I don't necessarily go for the games to people's streams. If there's someone like Shang here who we've known pretty much since I started streaming, and he got back into streaming, I guess. I go for the streamer to support someone who has been supporting me, and hang out with them. It's normally a really good time. Even for the cozy people. We'll see. We'll see. That it could be. It could very well be there is a game with the same title, or there is a game with a very similar title. Because I really remember. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that. During Halloween, someone playing a game. Some sort of zombie apocalypse sort of game. Maybe. I don't know. They spent most of their time inside a house trying to figure out who the non-humans were. Based on information that was being given to them about symptoms and stuff like that. Like it could have been beyond human, it could have been like something called almost human. But I really thought it was once human because like they started out as a human, and I didn't see the end of it, so I don't know if like over time they became like um I think it was something like a game to show the negative effects of like human judgment and paranoia and stuff like that, but I don't know. Again, it was one of those times that while the game was really, really interesting, I was there for the streamer, not the game. Ah, I'd say we're halfway there or more. I really should have turned my phone onto do not disturb. Like I said, I am not doing a great job on these beans. Um, my mom is definitely a bit more precise than I am. Then again, she grew up with this sort of cooking. I didn't really grow up with a lot of fiddly, like making things small. Other than garlic and onion, um, most of what I used to like cook was chunks of vegetables or um like there were definitely times when I cut things like chopped, but there was never a lot of it. But having said this, this cooks down a lot. We're getting there.
You're in the arms of
Thank you,
the
JMA Blazer. How are you doing today? I've seen you in stream since about when I started. Thank you, Alistair. Welcome in, both of you.
You're in the arms of the angel. May you
I hope you're both doing well today.
some comfort here.
Now, I don't feel this is any easier with a smaller knife, by the way. And by using the same one I've been using all day, I am saving dishes. I loathe and detest dishes. I'm not a chef, but the knife I'm most comfortable with is definitely the chef's knife. Good. Yeah. I can understand
We've
that.
got to all stick together. Good friends are there for each other.
With my head the
Never
way it's
ever
been
forget that
today,
I've got you and
I have
you
definitely had
got
to have
me.
things relatively quiet when I've been listening to them or watching them. Again, wonderful long-time supporter. Same as Shang and Alistair and Dan's. Ah! Nearly lost the whole bean. Well, it's a very small bean, so it wasn't really a lot to lose. So, to be fair, that's pretty much the thickness that my mum would get. Something I'm not quite as good at. Hey, we have an ad break, but at the same time, we're still doing the same thing we probably were about half an hour ago. All right, we're back, and yes, I'm still cutting beans, although these might be the last couple that I do. It's looking about the amount I think that I want slash need. So I definitely got way too many beans. Quite often I get too few. But I can always use beans for other stuff as well. To go along with a main meal or something like that. And this is why all the recipes are in protective sleeves instead of just bits of paper. I'll go back to cutting it the correct way, even though I'm getting better results the other way. Almost there. 2 more beans left. If only these were as nice as toast beans. Then we can get to the garlic and the actual cooking. Now you can use pre-minced garlic for this recipe. For the other one, for the chicken that we'll be doing shortly, it is either minced garlic or garlic powder. You don't use, or it wasn't recommended to me to use fresh garlic. Alright, so we need 4 cloves. What decent sized cloves? I'm not using the tiny ones. That is why I put a plate over the ingredients for the chicken spring rolls. We do have a couple of flies buzzing around. It is Australia. It's gonna happen. It's clean. Come on. All right. I got an. Ah, got an in. Come on. Now, due to the nature of garlic, a lot of stuff is sticking to me right now. I've got like a little bit of that garlic juice, and it's just enough that everything is sticking. Come on. See it, but it's being really, really annoying. There we go. No, I got it. Oh, I love garlic, but filling it is not fun. And neither is. Well, the next part is kind of fun. It's kind of also not fun because of the squishy, because of the sticky. Now, do be careful if you're doing this at home. If you don't feel confident, don't do it. It is supposed to help the juices come out of the garlic, but definitely safety first. Give myself a bit more room. Smell like garlic. Okay, now the fun part. Now, I did mess up. Ugh. We're having trouble getting this. I don't know how well that's going to work, but and that's not going to work well at all. I did forget to plug in throughout most of this. Okay, we were only at 60%, which is not too bad. Do need to grab the oil. So, my mum does this in a normal stock pot, not a wok. Unfortunately, our stock pot is not big enough to do this. Where is? So we are. Hello, kittens. Yeah. Welcome in, kittens. Hope you're well. You're doing okay. You just got out of a VC. You're pretty easy. I really didn't stream. I am that EP from bad sleep. But I also don't know what time it is for you, and I feel like you'd normally be asleep. So I don't know that that's a fair comparison. Have I got everything I'm gonna need? I've got the garlic, the onion, the green beans, the carrot, the cabbage, the oyster sauce, the soy sauce, bean sprouts, salt and pepper, chicken stock. Okay, 2:20 a.m. over here. Yeah, I mean, like I've said to a few people, time is kind of relevant. Um, I I am not a morning person. I cannot wake up in the morning. Um, so I've currently been going to bed at around 4, but I generally aim for. Well, hopefully that was at least fun. I'm gonna go blow my nose a little bit and wash my hands after. It was indeed. You got flustered a few times. All right. We have everything. Now we just gotta wait for the oil to heat up. It's getting pretty good. It's good. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear that sizzle. Hopefully you guys can see that sizzle. I might want to turn it down one more. Unfortunately, we do have electric stovetop, not gas. I feel there's less control with electric. And while I am cooking over here, I unfortunately cannot see chat. I haven't figured out how to bring the iPad over. So we're not trying to brown the garlic. We're just trying to saute it and have it cook through a little bit. If it starts going a little bit brown, it's not too bad, but alright, I'm gonna go grab the onion and chat. You don't hear the sizzling, unfortunately. I don't think that I'm gonna risk sticking the microphone close to the wok. I will bend over. next is those horrible, horrible green beans. I can hear it slightly every once in a while. So we're going to cook these for approximately 2 minutes. Of course, I don't actually have access to a timer at the moment. But we do still want them a little bit crispy, especially since they're going to be in there the longest. Try and get some of that sizzle. I'm attaching it back onto my chat now. Carrot is next. Now, I can't pause in the cooking process because of ads if we do get ads. Honestly, that looks pretty good. Obviously, I've cooked this a couple of times. I have an idea of what I'm looking for. So the beans are starting to slightly go soft, change color a little bit. I don't know how better to describe it. They're not fully soft though. They're nowhere near fully soft. Okay, now the carrot gets cooked for about 30 seconds once it's stirred through. It's not a lot of time. I'm really enjoying this with the wok more than the casserole stock pot sort of thing that we used to have. Gonna try and get some sleep. Alright, take care, kittens. Cabbage. And then we start with the sauces. So this is why you need such a big pot. So once the cabbage goes in, the cabbage itself gets cooked for about a minute. It is really hard to stir that through because they are different weights. But yeah, definitely helping the wok over the stock pot. And we did get one that does have a lid. So that is a massive, massive plus, because this is supposed to get covered at some point. Just briefly, but okay. So now we've got add oyster sauce, mix. Add soy sauce, mix. 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce and a tablespoon of soy. Now, my mum has told me, well, I remember 2 really good soy sauce brands from when she first came over. They have since found another brand they like as well. I do not remember the name of that. But if you are cooking Filipina food, Macapina or Silver Swan soy sauce is recommended. I currently have the Silver Swan brand. I'm going to stick that in there because I will be using it again in a, and I'm going to wipe that bottle because I did get some on the lip. Gonna mix that through. As you can see, there's nowhere near the volume that there was when we put the cabbage in. It's still big, but alright. Now that might help get any of the remaining oyster sauce out as well. Mix. I honestly don't think we're gonna need to cover it. We did get the cabbage nice and thin. Wash bean sprouts. We've already washed the bean sprouts. I really don't think we're gonna need to cover. I've been having an issue where it's been too watery by the end. Salt and pepper. Oh, the lid does not want to come off the pepper. Here we go. That one is pepper. Then we got some salt. Oh, Himalayan pink salt. Now the thing is, salt and pepper does tend to cook out a little bit, so don't be too worried if it smells a little bit strong at the moment. Okay, next. Next we have the bean sprouts. I'm not gonna add the stuff that's in the bottom of that. Now we are gonna cover it this time. Not for long, but yeah. Oh, I am gonna go wipe my nose again, wash my hands. So the reason I didn't add the little bits in the bottom of the bean sprouts is because they're all the little not so great bits. If you rinse them in a bowl of water instead of using the strainer, then they generally float to the top. But because I used the strainer, they will stay down the bottom. And I am going to hydrate. Grab the teaspoon. All right, Now, unfortunately, I don't know where all our measuring spoons have gone. They seem to have run away. There is the chicken stock, just 1 teaspoon. Like I said, you can always change up the vegetable stock. I don't do about the oyster sauce. As the oyster sauce is one of the things that really gives this dish its flavor. All we're trying to do is get those bean sprouts to go soft and a little bit translucent, not fully translucent, but and then we are done. That is the inside of the vegetable spring rolls cooked. Now, because the pot or pan or wok in this case is hot, we'll still keep cooking for a while, even after we turn it off, as long as we keep it in the wok. And I am happy with how the majority of those bean sprouts are looking. Turn that off. Lid goes on, and it comes off the high heat. Oh. Hopefully that will put the oyster sauce back in the fridge. And we are, other than rolling them in the wrappers, we are done with the vegetable lumpia. I did mess up slightly. I should have done this before I did the garlic. Something I completely forgot about. It is optional ingredient. So this is not for the vegetable ones, so I didn't mess up the vegetable ones. But I did try to do all the vegetables for the chicken one at the same time as I was doing the vegetables for the vegetable one. So. Nearly there with the spring onion. Like I said, I am tired. I am definitely feeling all of this. All right. I'm not going to try even attempt to that last little bit. So we got the onion, we got the carrot. Another thing I forgot is parsley, which I'm going to approximate. Here is some I prepared. It is approximately a tablespoon. Salt, pepper. It does not say how much oil. Oh, the oil is probably for when you cook it. The oil is probably for when you cook it. Um, 1 teaspoon of garlic. Again, like I said, it was not recommended to use fresh for this recipe. So that is the onion, the carrot, garlic, the parsley, the spring onion. Pepper. Salt. I'm gonna double check on that oil. It does mean that the stream will probably the video will probably stop for a second, or however long it takes me to nope. Not what I was trying to do. Definitely not what I was trying to do. I think I just kind of doxed myself. My face wasn't showing. I want my notes. Yeah, so it doesn't mention oil. So the oil is just for the cooking. Okay, we are done with that now. I'm gonna open up the chicken. I don't really want to put it down on the table because I do want to use the mat, so I probably will go over it. Can no longer be used the knife. It is indeed a layer of papery stuff under this chicken mince. As much as I tried not to touch that, I did and get a little bit, so gonna wash hands again. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with the camera. It definitely doesn't seem to be taking in as much space as it was. And now all that we got to do is mix all this together. So that last thing was 500 grams of chicken mince. And yes, this would be easier if I stuck my hands in there. But it is not a requirement to do so. I am going to get a bigger spoon. Some of this onion didn't get quite as good as it, quite as well as it looked like. Definitely getting a workout mixing this. So I guess this is probably similar to if you make hamburgers yourself, and mixing everything together for those. And there you have it. That is the chicken mixture. The chicken spring rolls. Now we're going to tidy up a little bit. I'll give up. I'm sticking that in the crisper. Over that. Not quite peppermint. So we have finished cooking the stuff with the vegetable one now. We have made we've mixed together the stuff with the chicken ones. So I will take you over to the veggie ones and unplug. That's all the veggies we were cutting for the vegetable ones. That is the mix for the chicken ones. Yeah, this is why yesterday I was considering doing, like I was talking about, should I maybe do some of the prep offline? Because the prep takes so long. And it's the part that people don't think about when they think about how much time and effort people have put into the meal. I'm so far off of eating peppermint. These still have to be put in wrappers. So the vegetable ones still have to cool down. They're not even. So the vegetable stuff has to cool down a lot before I can wrap. But I won't be eating these anyway. This is all preparation for Christmas. Yeah, I want that. Nah. That just had the water from the beans. Oh, I am gonna wash my hands, move the carrot. I am going to go over, give that board a once over with the vanilla, not board, but mat. Give that a once over with the vanilla fridge spray once I've moved my snap carrots. But no, I have still not had to eat yet. Just gonna put them in a little bowl. I prefer it wasn't that little bowl, but it is what it is. Sorry about the loud bang. I probably don't want the texture close by when I spray either. So we're going to put that in the fridge for a second. you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those wonderful, wonderful times of the year that people cook their hearts out for. Try to remember this stream and just how long it can actually take people. Of course, it's a little bit different for me with the shoulder injury, making it so that, like, I haven't used these muscles for quite some time. So my movements are probably a bit slower than some people's as well, but it is a really, really time consuming. Think of all the chefs out there in restaurants at this time of the year who are cooking for God knows how many people for a very, very long time, a lot longer than 2 hours in restaurants and stuff like that. I do need to wait for that to cool. It's kind of good because I need some water. I wish I knew what I'd done when I did weird things with the camera. Oh, I probably touched. Nope. Well, I don't know why all of a sudden it's showing less. I do need to, again, wipe my nose while we're waiting for that. Wash my hands. Oof. Thankfully, we are through the worst of it. I am not gonna be. I will just be making these. I will not be cooking any of the ones that I've got saved today. Where there aren't any in there at the moment. Yeah. Ramekin. Give me a fork and a knife. Where did they go? Okay. This isn't the usual brand. Having major issues with the camera. Good thing I hadn't actually put the egg in there yet. Okay, that one is not great. Again, I am not good at this. That was horrible. Oh! At least it went in without the egg, but I am doing a really, really bad butcher job of this. But, oh god, I had to be about to say it. I was going to say, other than the little bit that went in before the egg, I'd managed to not get shell in there, but nope. Hands. Ugh. Now, this is just to secure the wrappers. Is of the ingredients. This one seems to be doing a lot better than the one the other day. Unfortunately, I don't know where my smaller ones are. Now, these come frozen, the spring roll wrappers. So you do need to defrost them before use. And you do need some form of slightly damp clean towel so that they don't dry out while you're playing around with them. We are going to need a plate to put them on.